less. Why wouldn't we want all things in the life we live together to be done decently and in good order? That's not the Presbyterian and Reformed way. That's God's way, and Presbyterian and Reformed Christians would do well not to forget it. Kevin DeYoung, Senior Pastor, Christ Covenant Church, Matthews, North Carolina. Introduction. The Blessing of Prayer. 16 years ago, I experienced something that forced me to look at prayer and my own practice of it much more closely than I ever had before. That something was Hurricane Katrina. The destruction and upheaval it left in its wake drove me and many others around me to devote ourselves to prayer in ways that we had not previously. In August 2005, about 2 months after I accepted the call to serve as pastor at First Presbyterian Church in Gulfport, Mississippi, and about 2 months before I planned to arrive and officially start, Hurricane Katrina destroyed the entire church facility and the homes of nearly 60 families in the congregation. Almost everyone living on the Mississippi Gulf Coast was affected by the storm. Some lost their homes, some lost their businesses, some lost their churches, and some lost all three. The devastation was absolutely incredible. It will remain etched in my mind for as long as I am alive. The whole area looked like a war zone. What remained of people's homes and possessions was scattered everywhere as far as the eye could see. Huge craters were so widespread along the beachfront highway that it looked like the whole place had been carpet-bombed. Approximately 30 families in the church had nothing but a foundation left to their homes. Another 30 families had homes that were still intact but had been damaged by having anywhere from 7 to 17 feet of water in them for days on end in the sweltering summer heat. As a not yet ordained recent seminary graduate, I had absolutely no idea what to do in this situation. If there was a class in seminary on how to lead a church that had experienced this kind of devastation, I had obviously missed it. I was in over my head, and I knew it. Looking back now, I see that the whole situation was a severe mercy from the Lord in so many ways. It taught me important lessons about myself, about ministry, and about the church. But more importantly, it drove me to pray. The elders of the church called the congregation to join us in prayer and fasting. We pleaded with the Lord to hear our prayers and to provide the wisdom, the finances, the know-how, and the peace and unity that we needed to move forward. And you know what? The Lord provided. He answered our prayers, many of them visibly for all to see. It was a high water mark in the life of the congregation, to be sure. In many ways, it was a high water mark in my life, too. Much of the material in this audiobook is the fruit of those early years after the hurricane. My hope is that it will be helpful for everyone who takes it up. My hope is that it will teach us more about prayer. But what I really want is for it to encourage and motivate us to give ourselves more fully to the practice of prayer. The hurricane helped me to see what a blessing prayer is in the Christian life, and how important it is for us to be praying with persistence. It is my desire that this audiobook would do the same thing for you. How is prayer a blessing? In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, God routinely answered our congregation's prayers in very visible ways. Over and over again, we had needs that we couldn't meet ourselves, and we had nowhere else to turn for help. So we prayed, frequently with great desperation, and we saw God answer time and again in ways that clearly showed us He was providing for us. That is one of the greatest blessings of prayer. You and I get to see God work, and when we do, our faith is strengthened and our resolve to pray is increased. To be sure, God doesn't need our prayers. As the sovereign God of the universe, He is able to do all things at all times, all by Himself. But He stoops down to use our prayers as means to accomplish His perfect purposes. You and I, therefore, have the tremendous privilege of being co-workers with the God of the universe when we pray. And that is a blessing indeed. Yet prayer is a blessing not only because it strengthens our faith when we see God.